What's up, Fin fans? You're not reading that wrong. Now, Miami Dolphins have traded Laremy Tunsil and Kenny Stills to the Houston Texans. Huge trade. And if you notice, for the past couple of years, once we get to the cut down on Saturday, a lot of trades happen. A lot of big trades happen. And the Dolphins were like, hey, we've seen what has happened for the past 5 years. We're gonna top it. So let me give you a rundown of what I'm gonna do in this video. What I'm gonna do in this video is talk about the trade, what we got, what we gave up, talk about what our 2020 picks look like, and then I'm gonna talk about the other players that were cut. Initially, I was just gonna talk about the other players that were cut, and I was going to essentially break down, who could come back, who's gonna make the practice squad, stuff like that. Also, some of the people that we still kept, moves could still happen essentially, because you have, and I think waivers claims start tomorrow or Monday. I think you have to wait a little bit before you can start claiming people off of waivers. So the Dolphins aren't done cutting people and claiming people. So there's a lot that's going to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours. But let's jump into it, fellas. I'll tell you afterwards how I feel. Initially, you guys, whoever follow me on Twitter, be sure to follow me on Twitter at DouglieDoWrong, know how I felt. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about it before, let's just talk about it. So the Miami Dolphins trade Laremy Tunsil and Kenny Stills to the Houston Texans. You think that's it? No, we also sent them picks, because what they sent to us was humongo, right? So we sent Kenny Stills, Laremy Tunsil, next year's 5th, and the year after, 2021, 6th, to the Houston Texans. Now, what the Houston Texans sent to us is next year's 1st, 2021's 1st, and 2021's 2nd. That's not it. They sent a special teamer, Johnson Bedensmo, whatever. He's a special teamer. I don't really give two craps. And tackle Julian Davenport. So it's all right, we're going to send you one of the upcoming brightest, best left tackle in the NFL, and you're going to send us another tackle just so we have some depth, because Zach Stirrup is now our starting left tackle. It's just how the cookie crumbles. A lot of things are starting to make sense to me. The more I'm thinking, the more I'm talking to you. But yeah. So next year's draft looks like this, fellas. We got 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, 1 5, because we sent the 5 over to them, 2 6s, and only 1 7, because we sent that to Minnesota for the trade for their offensive lineman. So that is what the trade entails. Again, Tunsil Stills our 5th next year, our 6th the year after. We get 2 1s next year, the year after. They're 2 the year after, a special teamer, and Davenport the tackle. So that's what we did in the trade. Humongous trade. Very big trade. A lot of moving parts. Playing out for a while. Now, the Dolphins wanted them to include Jadeveon Clowney in this trade, and it didn't pan out, obviously, because Jadeveon Clowney's a big whiny baby and didn't want to play for the Dolphins. But it happened. The move happened. The trade happened. It's happened. We're just going to keep saying it happened. How do I feel about it? Now, we got a huge capital off of this trade. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna give you a very unbiased perspective. But I'm still telling you how I feel. We got a huge capital, 2 1s and a 2, right? So we have enough picks next year to really, and the cap space we have from getting rid of Kenny Stills and not having to pay Laremy Tunsil a huge contract is humongous. Again, we're gonna have over $100 million next year. We have the capital to build a great team for the future. The future of the Miami Dolphins is bright, to the point where everyone's talking about it. Everyone's like, yeah, you guys are going to suck this year, but huge how much better we're going to be in the upcoming years. It's just ridiculous with the cap space and the picks and all this stuff. Humongous. We robbed the Houston Texans. I'm sorry. We robbed them. Now, the Laremy Tunsil part. I didn't want to trade Laremy Tunsil. You all know I didn't want to trade Laremy Tunsil, even when the whole Jadeveon Clowney situation happened. I didn't want to trade Laremy Tunsil. We did it, and I know a lot of people are like, well, now we have two 1s in the next. In the next 2 years, we have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. Which, why don't we just draft a tackle? Which, yeah, of course, we're going to draft a tackle in one of those 4 picks. It's high quality, high end draft talent with the first 2 rounds in the next 2 years. We get 4 shots at it. But that's what scares me, is because how many times have we taken a shot at an offensive lineman and him not pan out? Now, Jake Long panned out, but a lot of you guys didn't like Jake Long. We got so lucky with Laremy Tunsil, right? He should have been a top 5 pick. We got him at 13. It fell to us. So again, I love what we got, but I hate what we gave up, because now we're gambling. We're gambling that we can find another Laremy Tunsil when we already had it. You know, when the talk about trading Xavier Howard was the discussion, and then people were like, well, then next year there's a lot of top-notch corners in the draft. We'll just draft his replacement. But you already have it. Why would you just draft what you have? You know what I'm saying? It's like having a sandwich and being like, someone's like, oh, I'm going to give you $4 for your sandwich. And you're like, all right, cool, here's your sandwich. And then you have to go and make another sandwich. And then you're like, it's not the same sandwich. This sandwich isn't as good. That's a horrible analogy. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you already had what you needed. Why did you? All right. But like I said, the more I'm thinking about it, we got a lot for Laremy Tunsil. It was mostly for Laremy Tunsil. We got a lot of high-end draft capital. When I first read it, if you guys were following me on Twitter, I was like, it's still not enough. It's still not enough. I'm upset. I'm pissed. It's still not enough. But again, I didn't make the video as soon as news broke, because I didn't want to give you guys my rash off the top of my head, like, this is BS. Like, are you kidding me? Because then afterwards I'd sit back and think, and then I'm like, you know, it sucks because Laremy Tunsil, like I said, is up-and-coming great left tackle, which now we're going to have to watch him thrive and become a great Houston Texan left tackle, who we barely beat in their history. But when it comes to the trade, I have both sides of the spectrum. I like what we got, but I don't like losing Tunsil. But, you know, we got a tackle in the position. He's not as great as Tunsil, but we got something. We got a ton of draft picks, a ton of high draft picks. We saved cap. And it's like, I get it. I get both sides. At first I was upset. Now I'm just kind of like, I see what the Dolphins are doing. But now the offensive line is bad. It was before, and now it's bad. The defense is going to have to carry this team. This defense is really going to have to carry this team. And we don't have Kenny Stills anymore. So the wide receiver core really took a hit on there. And I know a few of you guys are probably like, good, he's a bum, he's a kneeler, he's this, he's that. He was our most productive wide receiver on the team at that point, where he was consistently doing what he needed to do. So now it's Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson, Preston Williams, and some other people, which I'll talk about in a second. So, you know, the trade's the trade. The team is really rebuilding. It's young. It's the youngest team in the NFL right now. We don't have many vets on the team, except for John Denny, who made the cut. But I'll talk about that in a second. Like I said, I'm going to run down who got cut and some surprises and who I think will come back with the team. It won't be too long after what I'm done saying. But it happened. I'm okay. How about that? I'm not excited, I'm not pissed. I'm okay. I'm in the middle because I thought about it and I like what we got, but it still sucks we lost Tunsil. But I can understand both ends of the spectrum. That's my take on it. So let's jump into who got cut. I got it on the computer over here. Let's jump into who got cut. First, Jake Rudick got cut. I honestly think the Dolphins are going to bring him back to be on the practice squad. I don't think anyone's going to claim Jake Rudick. I know. And again, all these claims are going to happen tomorrow. So nothing's happening for the rest of the day when it comes to who's getting claimed. But Jake Rudick, Kenneth Farrow, I saw coming. The Dolphins kept most of the running backs I wanted. Cox, Laird, Walton, they kept them. So we got 5 running backs on the team, and I'm very happy about that. Dwayne Allen got cut. Injury settlement cut. We all saw that, though. He struggled. He struggled badly. Isaiah Ford got cut, which you were like, wow, Isaiah Ford got cut. Dolphins are going to try to put him on practice squad if he clears waivers. I can promise you that. And then Reming, Irwin, and Reese Horn, they got cut. I could see maybe Reese Horn and Irwin coming back. But Isaiah Ford will definitely be practice squad. Offensive line, Tony Adams, Michael Dunn, Wesley Farnsworth, Kyle Fuller, Jones Smith, and Montiero got cut. Again, a lot of these guys who got cut probably will be coming back on the practice squad if they clear waivers, especially offensive line. We need some depth there. Defensive tackles, Joey Mabu, Jameis Pittman, Derval Neto, and Corey Thomas. Derval Neto will definitely be coming back, and he'll be on the practice squad because he has an exemption. He doesn't count towards the practice squad, so I can really see him coming back. One of the surprises is Hendricks got cut. That surprised the crap out of me, but again, I'll say it again, practice squad. He's definitely, if he doesn't get claimed, and Tyrone Holmes, another defensive end. For the linebackers, DeLuca, Smith, Watson, and Quentin Pauling. Quentin Pauling was a linebacker drafted with the last regime. So I expected that, especially because he hasn't done anything and he's been injured a lot. I don't see him coming back. But maybe Watson and DeLuca might be coming back practice squad. Smith, no, I don't see that happening. Cornerbacks, Cornell Armstrong, he had a good showing against the Jaguars as a special team gunner. Maybe he'll come back. Jalen Davis, McTyer, Needham, and David Rivers. Needham we saw coming. We saw that coming. He struggled hard. Jalen Davis and Armstrong might come back. Torrey McTyer struggled a lot too. So I could see that happen. Morris Smith, the safety, was cut, which really blew my mind. He was doing really well. And then they're saying Dolphins are also considering a viable trade, teams for trades with Kenyon Drake, Alonzo, and Kenny Stills still floating on the rumor mill. Well, Stills is gone, so you can scratch that name off of there. So Kenyon Drake and Kiko Alonzo. I don't want them to trade Kenyon Drake, but it seems like what they're doing right now is if you're due for a huge contract or if you're due for renewing your contract, or if you're a vet who really didn't produce or you don't fit in this type of defense like Kiko, they're gonna try to trade your ass. Kiko's still on the team. He made the 53-man cut, so he's gonna have to put his stuff back in his locker because he cleaned out his locker. Kenyon Drake, I'd like them to keep. I think he can be super dynamic, but I don't know at this point. I didn't think they'd cut Laremy. I didn't think they'd trade Laremy Tunsil. Kenny Stills, I kind of saw a trade happening there, and I knew the Texans wanted Kenny Stills because there was a talk that they wanted another receiver behind Hopkins and Fuller, and they got him. So Kiko, I could still see that trade happening, but a lot of young guys made the team. A lot of undrafted guys made the team. I don't think any AAF players really made the team, but a lot of young guys making the team. And again, this team is building from the ground up. They're building through their bones, which one of their beams left in Laremy Tunsil. I always said that we had good bones, we had good structure, and one of them left. Like they just knocked the beam out, and the house went. It still survived because we still have Wilkins, Howard, Mika, Taylor, Gachow, Balaj. Now even younger guys coming in, but this offensive line is suspect without Laremy Tunsil there. This will cut a long snapper, which means that John Denny, our boy, is going to be on the team for a little longer. But yeah, that's the cuts that happen. Again, waivers are going to be happening tomorrow, so we'll start to see if more people get cut because we see better people up for grabs on the waivers. Some other teams cut their players, like the Jets. The Jets cut their 3rd-round pick from this year. Polite, I think his name's Polite. He's a defensive end. They cut their 3rd-round pick from this year. I would like the Dolphins to go after him. I'd like the Dolphins to look at him and potentially bring him in. I don't know where we're at in the waiver claim, probably 10th where we drafted, but I would really like the Dolphins to try to go after him and bring him on the team. But, that's for tomorrow, and there'll be a video for that tomorrow when we start claiming people and stuff. A lot of times what I like to do is, what I'm going to start doing is not jump to making videos. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to get a level head, take a deep breath, and then make a video. So I'm not coming on here like the Josh Rosen incident where I made a video and I was like, I don't want him. And I was like, Then I was like, yeah, it's not a bad trade. So that's what I'm going to do. But tomorrow is when waiver claims can start happening. So you're going to video tomorrow with all that stuff happening. But again, today we trade Laremy Tunsil. We trade Kenyon Drake, Kenny Stills. We trade our 5th next year and the 6th the year after to the Houston Texans. And we got their 1st next year, their 1st the year after, their 2nd the year after that, a special teamer, and the tackle Davenport. Davenport's not that bad of a tackle, if you ask me. If he can come in and do a decent enough job at left tackle, I'd be happy. But again, I didn't want to lose Laremy Tunsil, but for the stuff we got back and not having to throw a huge contract at him and start to build more pieces and really fortify that offensive line and not worry about throwing cash at the left tackle and then the rest of the line is kind of suspect. I get it. And I see what the Dolphins are doing, and I see how their restructure's going, and how they're starting to take little pieces that they didn't put in and start shipping it off for draft capital, huge draft capital, and start filling in pieces of their liking. Brian Flores has a 5-year guaranteed contract. He's going to be with this team for at least 3-4 years. He's building this team in his likeness, and he's doing it the right way. Again, at first I was very upset that they traded Laremy Tunsil because he's a very good left tackle. But the team, I was upset, but I'm trying to keep my faith in this team and in the front office, and I like what we got a lot back. Like he's traded Jadeveon Clowney to Seattle for like a third, and then they got back like some other. I didn't care because once Jadeveon Clowney was like, I don't want to play there, I don't want to play there. I didn't care anymore. But they traded him for a third, which means that he would have been thrown in with the picks that we got. So instead of like the special teamer, it might have been like Clowney, Davenport, and maybe like a 1 and a 2 instead of 2 1s. Probably would have been that if Clowney wasn't such a big baby and saw the bright future this Miami Dolphins organization has. Because this is what I'm going to end the video on. Because normally I do comment of the day, but I feel like comment of the day is just, it's understood that everyone is either, what the hell are we doing? I love this move. It's 2 ends of the spectrum. What the hell are we doing? I love this move. We are building a franchise, a dynasty right now, fellas. You gotta, again, I was very upset when it happened, but I'm starting to see it. We have 13 draft picks next year, and I don't even think that includes the compensation picks we'll get for Cameron Wake and Juwan James. So we might have 15 draft picks next year, which means in the first 2-3 rounds, we could take the 6s and 7s and 5s and just bundle it up and have like 9 picks in the first 3 rounds, just 3 of each round, and just destroy the draft and get crazy draft. And then in the free agency, grab all these young up-and-coming talents and not have to overpay, but we still have $100 million. The team has a bright future, and I'm very excited to see this team. Now, people think, oh, now they're definitely tanking. The team sucks now, and they're definitely tanking. Guys, we didn't take anything off the defense. We didn't make the defense worse. The only thing we did with the offense is take out the left tackle. But the left tackle didn't play most of the preseason, and we still kind of did really well. So, you know, if whoever plays left tackle can just do a decent job, if the offensive line can just do a decent job, we might win some games that people will think we're going to lose. Again, a lot of people, especially the beat writers and all that, are like, oh, tank job is in the books. You know, Tua played today, and a lot of people were like, let's watch Tua because he's going to be a Dolphin next year. I don't see Brian Flores tanking. Now, you could take what they did and say, this is a tank job because they're getting rid of talent to bring in draft capital. I just see it as a rebuild. Now, I have blinders on, rose-colored glasses on, but I still think this year is going to be super interesting for the Dolphins. I still think we're going to be super competitive. We might have some bad games here and there, but who doesn't? The Patriots have bad games. The Chiefs had bad games. You're going to have bad games, but I think we're still going to be competitive, and we're still going to win more games. I think we'll win more than 3-4 games. I honestly do. But, you know, comment below, let me know what you guys think. You know, I want to hear from everybody. I want to hear from all of you guys what you guys think of this. So comment below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. You know, like I said, it sucks for the people who wanted Tunsil here and who didn't want the trade. But like I said, trust the process. We got a lot back, so the future is very, very bright. So trust the process. But yeah, be sure to give this video a thumbs up because it's moving, guys. And also give this video a thumbs up because this week starting, I'm going to start giving you guys the content for the season. Next Sunday is the first game. We actually get to watch meaningful Dolphin football, see what the offense and defense looks like. Give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to check out Dolphins Talk if you haven't yet. Great site over there. If you're watching, you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I got so much planned for you guys. You have no idea. Minimum 3-4 videos a week. Videos with my dad, previews, post games, all that stuff. Like usual, like I did after I saw it, I freaked out and I took a deep breath. Trust the process. Just trust the process. But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow because waiver claims is tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. Love you guys. Fins up.